Hi everyone, hope you all had a great week. In this week's report, we'll see if the recent rain in the mountains had any effect on the lake levels. We'll see whether fish are biting. Pete took a trip to the dam wall recently and has a great pic to share with us. There's the weather, pick of the week, and this week's fishing meme. Okay, let's start. Here's the report for the week ending the 25th of May, 2025. The widespread rain that fell on Friday did have some effect on lake levels. However, Lake Eucumbene continues to fall. The lake down another 1.2% this week, 2.4% in the last fortnight. Lake Jindabyne rose 0.6%, and Tantangara Dam was up 0.4%. Tough conditions for fishing this week, with anglers experiencing very varied weather conditions. There were periods of heavy fog, gusty winds, and rain squalls. Those who braved the elements, though, were rewarded with some lovely fish. James and his good mate Craig spent a cool day up at the lake last Saturday. They fished around rushies, casting into the Abbey banks, into rocks on wind-blown edges. They boated 25 fish, releasing all but a few for a great feed. James said these two had no eggs or milk and were chock-a-block full of yabbies. One lure caught all the fish. The Strike Pro A18, 9.1 grams. I think the local tackle shop should order some now. There could be a rush on them, James. Glad you had a great time, and thanks for sharing with the group, mate. Rob spent last Sunday's beautiful, clear and crisp weather out on the water between Anglers Reach and Providence Portal. Rob caught these beautiful browns on the troll. I bet they made a tasty meal, Rob. Thanks for sharing with us, mate. Very thick fog made for an eerie morning fish last Saturday, but Adrian braved the chill to catch 5 trout. 4 of the fish were caught on worms and 1 on powerbait. Adrian going on to say it was the first time he'd ever caught a fish using powerbait. All the fish were full of yabbies, so Adrian caught some under rocks and fished with them. He didn't get a bite. You've got to love Eucumbene, Adrian. Thanks for sharing, mate. Also out and about in the early fog last Saturday was Jamie Smith. Jamie managed to land a couple of nice browns and a rainbow. Jamie catching the fish on Tasmanian Devils, trolling at around 3.2 knots and experimenting with depth. Great to see you rewarded for braving the conditions, Jamie. Thanks for posting, mate. Tony Bennett sent in this great photo during the week. The catch, a 47cm brown, was landed by his good mate Matt Clark from Canberra. Matt caught the trout last Saturday morning on the new 55mm Mandagary minnow, the purple thing. Great catch, Matt, and thanks for posting to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, Tony. Daniel and his mates spent a very cool and wet Friday afternoon at Buckandera. Despite the conditions, which were made much more bearable by a lovely fire, the group, including beautiful blue heeler Ash, had a great time. Daniel saying Ash is just as keen as the group to get to Eucumbene and knows the sound of the bells when they go off. Thanks for sharing with us, mate. Paul is spending this weekend up at Buckandera and so far has landed 4 trout. You'll have to let us know how the rest of your weekend goes, mate. Reno took a trip to Anglers Reach last weekend and spent some time by the water with Tiny and Julie. Judging by this video, I'm not sure fishing was the order of the day, but I bet many stories and laughs were shared.
Got a fish yet, Reno?
Haven't fished yet.
Great to see you back at your favourite lake, Reno. Catch up with you soon, mate. It looks like the birthday gifts are still making their way to Anglers Reach, with Tiny unwrapping another batch of powerbait. Looks like green-yellow combination might be the go next week, mate. Tiny also unwrapped some new handmade Tasmanian lures. These BF lures are considered some of the best on the market. Looking forward to hearing how your new toys go, mate. It wasn't all fun and games this week. Anyone who knows Tiny knows fishing is a serious business. Tiny landed this big brown over the weekend and was quick to get it ready to turn it into a batch of his world-famous smoked trout dip. Looks so good, and I love your work, Tiny. Pete took a trip to the Eucumbene Dam last weekend and took this fascinating photo. It's the spillway structure at the dam wall and is a very impressive piece of engineering. The spillway is located to the east of the dam wall and has two gates which would be open to release water should it be needed. This is pretty unlikely though, as Lake Eucumbene is designed to generally operate in the 40 to 60% capacity range. If you've never seen the spillway, it's definitely worth the drive. Pete's photo generated a lot of comments on the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group. Noel Henry saying, at the time of construction, it was assumed the spillway would not be needed, but panic set in during the early 70s with a rapidly rising lake, the spillway being built post-haste. Another plan Noel heard was to allow excess water to find its way over a saddle on the northeast shore and spill into the Murrumbidgee. Most people commenting the spillway had never been used, as the lake has never been that full. Brian Keenan mentioned he had seen water going over the spillway in 1990, but it was only a very shallow flow. Thanks for the photo, Pete, and generating some great conversation. If you haven't seen Pete's Australian high country photography yet, you should. He's taken some amazing photos from the lake and region. A long-time visitor to Lake Eucumbene, Craig Highland, was at Old Adaminaby on Thursday and took a couple of photos of the boat ramp. As you can see, with the lake sitting at 38% on this day, the 22nd of May, the end of the boat ramp is now above the waterline. Could be some interesting times ahead if you're trying to launch a boat at Old Adaminaby. Take care, everyone, and thanks for posting to the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, Craig. As predicted last week, steady, soaking rain fell across the mountains on Friday. Tiny Egan received 47mm at Anglers Reach, and Pete Wilson 46mm at nearby Adaminaby. For comparison, I received 44mm in my gauge here in Canberra's scenic north. For the week ahead at Eucumbene, more heavy rain is expected on Monday and Tuesday, with up to 40mm possible. The rest of the week will be cool and partly cloudy, maximum temperatures ranging from a cold 6 degrees on Tuesday to 14 degrees on Thursday. For pick of the week, I've gone with this unusual but awesome pic posted by Andrew Williams. It's a thermal image taken recently at Anglers Reach. Andrew took the image using Hick micro binoculars. Thanks for sharing with the Lake Eucumbene Facebook group, Andrew. It's a beauty. Thanks to everyone who's posted funny fishing memes this week. We've had heaps of them. This week's fishing meme was sent in by Eric. That face when you lose your favourite lure on the first cast. Yep, I've pulled that face a number of times whilst fishing, and I bet others in the group have too. Thanks for posting, Eric. Well, that's the report for this week. Hope you found it useful. As always, I'm happy to take on any feedback or suggestions. And don't forget, if you're looking for more information on Lake Eucumbene, check out the social media channels. There's the website, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, tight lines, and bye for now.